Final Fantasy VII, it's a fucking classic. Fuck that remake shit. No intro needed. This game's way too fucking long. Let's get this shit over with. The introduction of the game takes place in Midgar, a technologically advanced city that's owned and governed by an evil megacorporation that drains the life force of the planet in order to convert it into Mako energy. You play the game as Cloud, an ex-soldier mercenary hired by an eco-terrorist organization called Avalanche, and the immediate goal of the game is to blow up one of Shinra's Mako reactors because Shinra are a bunch of assholes. During the bombing run, Cloud works closely alongside Barret, Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. Barret is the leader of Avalanche, who's basically Mr. T with a gun replacing his severed arm. Biggs and Jesse are pretty cool because they're hot, and Wedge is just some fat fuck and no one cares about him because he's fat. Anyways, the group blows up one of the Mako reactors and you escape the scene on train, and it's here where you get a proper look at the city of Midgar. The city proper is divided up between 8 different sectors that sits on a plate 50 meters above ground, with each sector having its own Mako reactor that powers the city, and it's basically like a giant pizza. Shinra headquarters lies in the center and towers over the city proper like the little plastic table on top of the pizza, while the Midgar slums are located 50 meters below the pizza, which is where all the oppressed poor people live underneath the pizza. You eventually get back to the 7th Heaven, a bar that's owned by Cloud's childhood friend Tifa, another member of Avalanche that uses her bar as a secret headquarters for the group, and she's everyone's favorite character because she's got big fucking tits. Meanwhile, the game does some visual storytelling by introducing you to Barret's adopted daughter Marlene, and you know she's adopted because she's pale as hell and Barret's black as fuck, and if they're biologically related, it'd probably be like a half black, half white situation. She'd probably be in like a Reese's Puffs commercial or some shit. Also, you get a quick flashback of Cloud leaving his hometown of Nibelheim to join Soldier, and he basically had the ambitious goal of becoming just as strong as Sephiroth, who's the greatest member of Soldier ever known. But at this point of the game, it doesn't really matter, so who gives a shit? The next day, Tifa joins the group, and their next mission is to blow up another Shinra Mako reactor in Sector 5, where Cloud starts having a mental breakdown. He gets a vision of Tifa's father dying, he eventually regains his composure, they escape the scene on foot, and then they get ambushed by some guards and the president of Shinra, who attacks them with a giant stupid robot. And after you beat the shit out of the stupid robot, the resulting explosion breaks apart the bridge and causes Cloud to get separated from the rest of the group. He falls and lands on top of a church in the Sector 5 slums, and it's here where his unconscious body is discovered by Aerith. And yes, Aerith is the correct name of the character. I understand that the developers intended for her name to be Aerith instead and got mistranslated for some convoluted reason, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, this isn't some fucking nuanced thing that's open for interpretation. If you load up your original copy of Final Fantasy VII, it's literally the default name of the character shown on screen, and that's all that fucking matters. It's what every English-speaking player experienced when the game came out, it's still the default name in every single port of the game, and frankly, the Final Fantasy VII compilation is just some fan fiction, corporate cash grab, afterthought bullshit that doesn't fucking matter, and Tetsuya Nomura can suck my fucking dick, and the FF7 remake might as well be a completely different story at this point. So in the meantime, I'm calling her Aerith, and if you don't like that, then too bad. So anyways, Aerith is just a flower girl who sells the flowers that grow inside of the Sector 5 church. She starts talking to Cloud and they get to know each other until this group called the Turks show up and want to kidnap her. So now you have to like push barrels down from the roof in order to get the Shinra guys to prevent her from getting captured, and it fucking never works and you just look like an idiot, and then you both escape. Cloud and Aerith fight a stupid haunted house, and then you discover that Tifa decided to become a prostitute or some shit. So now in order to infiltrate the whorehouse, Aerith decides that the best plan is for Cloud to cross-dress as a cute girl so they could both sneak inside together. Now, this part of the game is kind of goofy because it mostly involves Cloud and Aerith running around and doing various side activities in order to collect makeup and other girly shit, which often leads to a lot of bizarre optional cutscenes, like Cloud being gangbanged in the ass. Anyways, they both go inside of the mansion to find Tifa, and you find out that she's been tracking down Don Corneo because he tipped him off to Shinra during their last mission. So after Don Corneo picks out one of the girls and Cloud almost gets raped by a bunch of dudes, the group bursts inside of his bedroom, and then Cloud's just like, yeah, we're gonna chop your dick off, you don't tell us what happened. And then the other girls are like, yeah, rip his dick, fucking smash his dick. And then Don Corneo's like, and then he's like, oh yeah, Shinra ordered me to track down Barret so they can infiltrate Avalanche's hideout and destroy it by blowing up the support pillar that holds up the pizza plate above Sector 7, and Shinra's planning on pinning the entire thing on you guys, cause fuck you. And then Cloud's like, man, fuck fuck Shinra. So now shit's super fucked. Cloud and Tifa fight their way to the top of the pillar to assist Barret. The Turks set off the time bomb. The group fights off Reno until the leader of the Turks show up in a helicopter having captured Aerith. So then they fly away and the group escapes right before the pillar explodes and the pizza plate crashes down on Sector 7, killing Biggs, Wedge, Jesse, and the entire population of Sector 7. It's like 9/11 times 10 billion. They're all fucking dead. That's right, we dropped the goddamn pizza down on you motherfuckers, but we didn't make money off that shit, but we don't give a fuck. Having survived the crash, Cloud, Tifa, and Barret head over to Aerith's house to tell her mom that she's been kidnapped, and their mom's just like, oh yeah, Marlene's totally fine because Aerith was with Marlene, and I knew Shinra would capture her because Aerith has connection to the planet. She's got magical powers. And it's like, whatever, I don't fucking care. Shinra are a bunch of assholes. Let's go get her. You go above the pizza and sneak inside of the plastic table headquarters, and the group follows a scientist named Hojo who's apparently experimenting on Aerith. And as the group follows him, Cloud discovers a strange beheaded woman called Genova, and he starts freaking the fuck out, which is also somehow related to Sephiroth in some way. Which, at this point of the game, means absolutely nothing to you and makes no fucking sense. They later find Aerith trapped inside of some strange contraption, and then Hojo's just like, oh man, I'm gonna make this red line rape you so we can create magical furries. And it's like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Then the dog lion guy breaks out and attacks Hojo, and he's just like, my name's Red 13. I'm actually an extremely intelligent species who can talk, and I was only pretending to rape Aerith. And it's like, okay, dude, I don't care. Let's get the fuck out of here. Anyways, after fighting off whatever the fuck this is, they all escape together as a group, but then the Turks end up capturing them and bring them up to talk to the president of Shinra. And he's just like, Aerith used to be an ancient, which is also called the Cetra, and she's magic because she's an ancestor to an ancient race that lived on the planet thousands of years ago, and they're able to find the promised land. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get this bitch to find the promised land. We're gonna build Neo Midgar in the promised land because apparently there's a bunch of fucking Mako there. We're gonna harvest the goddamn gabagool, make a shit ton of money. I'm done. And it's like, wow, fuck you guys. Anyways, everyone eventually falls asleep in their jail cells, but Cloud wakes up in the middle of the night and finds out that his cell door was opened and everyone inside the building has been massacred. Shit super fucked. The building's covered with blood, Genova has broken out of its constraints, and the president of Shinra has been assassinated. The main antagonist of the entire game just fucking died off screen. Cloud recognizes the sword that's impaled the president to be Sephiroth's, and then Palmer's just like, oh man, Sephiroth was trying to prevent Shinra from finding the promised land. It's like, oh okay, I guess Sephiroth seems like a cool dude then. And then Cloud's just like, no, Sephiroth is an evil motherfucker. Don't trust him, fucking piece of shit. And it's like, what? What the fuck? Meanwhile, Palmer breaks free from the group and runs towards a helicopter with Vice President Rufus, where Rufus immediately declares himself as the president of Shinra and claims that under his rule, he'll use fear to control the minds of the common people, which means the president's death basically accomplished nothing because this guy is debatably even more of a psychotic asshole than the guy who did 9/11 times a billion. And it's like, come on, dude, it was fucking free! Come on! With the entire building being surrounded by Shinra soldiers, the group escapes with vehicles they found inside the building, and you do this entire highway chase sequence where Cloud fights everyone off on a motorcycle. It's like the fucking hype is shit, and after they escape, Cloud decides that he's going to leave Midgar to seek out Sephiroth and get revenge. For some fucking reason. Because apparently this Sephiroth guy is so fucking evil that the main antagonists that caused 9/11 times a trillion are now, somehow, less important. And it's like, Jesus Christ, this guy must be like Mega Hitler or some shit. Anyways, everyone in the party decides to travel alongside Cloud to help kill Sephiroth in order to save the planet. After meeting up at an inn, Cloud tells everyone some of his history with Sephiroth so he could properly explain why he is so fucking evil, and the game visualizes his story through a pretty lengthy flashback sequence. 5 years ago, Cloud worked alongside Sephiroth as a member of Soldier, and during their battles, Sephiroth was the strongest and most unstoppable person alive, and Cloud fucking sucked dick in comparison. On one of their missions, they both came to Cloud's hometown Nibelheim in order to investigate an old Mako reactor, and after Tifa guided them both up the mountain, they discovered that Hojo was producing monsters by overexposing humans with Mako energy. Being driven by curiosity, Sephiroth disappeared inside the Shinra mansion and uncovered tons of research revolving around the Genova Project, and according to his findings, the Genova Project was created to produce people with the same powers of the Cetra by using the remains of a 2,000-year-old ancient named Genova, leading Sephiroth to believe that he was created through this process because Jenova is his mother's name. So then he turns into a fucking psycho and starts going on a fucking rampage. He traveled back to the Mako reactor to remove Jenova and kill Tifa's father in the process, and then Cloud showed up to the reactor to save Tifa and stop Sephiroth, where Sephiroth claimed that he wanted to take back the planet from humanity. But apparently, Cloud's memory is a bit foggy and he doesn't remember what happened after the fight, because this is going to be a giant cliffhanger plot twist later in the game, but you're not supposed to know that yet. Anyways, after this flashback, the game starts to become a pseudo open world experience where the entire goal is to track down Sephiroth, which is where the main story slows down to a crawl. You see, Final Fantasy VII does that annoying RPG thing where Sephiroth is always conveniently nearby the next town down the road, but the millisecond you travel there, the group barely misses him and participates in some stupid shenanigans before once again moving on towards the next town down the road. And this cycle repeats over and over again until they travel all the way across the entire world map and find Sephiroth at the very last possible location at the edge of the fucking universe. Meanwhile, since Shinra takes a backseat to Sephiroth for the rest of the game, most of the story is spent dicking around trying to find him. The Sephiroth feedback loop starts with the group traveling east towards the Chocobo farm, and the owner's just like, oh yeah, I saw a guy in a black cape cross the marsh to the south down the road, and it's like, oh wow, down the yellow brick road we go. So now the group helps out a little girl from being attacked from a giant ass water dragon, and then Cloud has to climb up a high voltage electrical tower by riding a dolphin or some shit, and then you have to sneak around and do a bunch of goofy ass shit where you have to pretend to be a Shinra soldier and participate in the parade, and it's like the most broken shit ever. Like, how the fuck does this shit work? Just let me into the group! What the fuck? This is so fucking stupid! Also, right after this happens, apparently the rest of the group were also disguised as Shinra soldiers and decided to board Shinra's cargo ship to cross the ocean, because Sephiroth is across the ocean, the next town down the road across the ocean. Except, oh shit, never mind, Sephiroth is on the boat right now! Except, oh shit, never mind, he's actually a giant goo monster! It's like, what the fuck is going on? So now the group runs into Hojo relaxing on the beach, and apparently he's still wearing his lab coat at the beach and hanging out with a bunch of hot girls with big ass titties because they all want to fuck him, even though he looks like a goddamn hunchback psycho. So then the group confronts Hojo and they're just like, dude, you almost raped Aerith with a wolf dog. What the fuck? And then he's just like, oh man, I love sucking titties. Oh hey guys, you should head west because Sephiroth's totally gonna be at the next town down the road. It's like, whatever, fuck you. So now the group heads over to Barret's hometown, North Corel, and it's here where we get a lot of his backstory. Apparently, Corel was originally a coal mining town that decided to install one of Shinra's Mako reactors, hoping it would bring prosperity to the town. But sometime after, an explosion occurred at the Mako reactor and Shinra blamed it on the townsfolk and burned the town to the ground and killed a shit ton of people because they're a bunch of fucking assholes. And now all the townsfolk blame Barret for doing it, even though he basically didn't do shit. Also, this random ass guy is just like, oh yeah, I saw a man in a black cloak heading towards the ropeway and he's totally gonna be there in the next town down the road. It's like, oh shit! You eventually run to the owner of the Golden Saucer and he tells you that Sephiroth came by and asked him if he had any black materia. And then it's like, oh yeah, let me guess, Sephiroth is at the next town down the road, huh? And then he's like, I don't fucking know, I don't know shit. And it's like, well, fuck. Game over, I guess. After wandering around aimlessly trying to figure out what to do, you run into a fortune teller cat robot thing named Kate Sith, and Cloud asks him to give him a fortune so he can figure out where Sephiroth went. And then Kate Sith is just like, oh yeah, you're going to find Sephiroth, but Aerith is totally gonna die at the end of disc 1. Wow, this fortune's fucking awesome, I wanna see that shit. And then he just forces himself to join the party, and it's like, really? Is this game for fucking real? So now the group shows up to the battle arena and finds out that a ton of Shinra soldiers have been shot to death by someone who has a gun on their arm. And then the owner shows up with his police force and assumes they did it and sends them to Corel Prison. So then they find Barret inside the prison and confront him about the murders inside the Golden Saucer, but he claims it was done by his friend Dine, because apparently when he lost his right arm when he was shot by Shinra soldiers, Dine also lost his arm as well, and then they also just both happened to replace their missing arms with guns for some fucking reason. As the group explores the prison, they find out it's surrounded by a desert filled with quicksand with absolutely no way of escaping, and apparently the only way to get out is to win a chocobo race at the Golden Saucer, which has to be the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Anyways, after a bit more exploring, the group finds Dine inside the prison, who has become a shell of his former self, and then he's just like, oh man, the world is fucked and there's nothing to live for cause all my family's dead. And then Barret's like, dude, Marlene is still totally alive, you can visit her if you want. And then Dine's like, fine, I'll just fucking kill her myself and end her suffering. And then they both fight each other and type as fuck, and then Dine's just like, oh man, my hands are stained with blood, my daughter wouldn't even recognize me, life is so pointless, so here's a necklace. And then he jumps off the cliffside and commits suicide, and then Barret's just like, die, no, die, fuck. Cloud, let's go chokebo racing! How the fuck do I control this goddamn thing? How does this shit work? There's a fucking auto and manual option. Like, what the hell is this fucking burnout shit? After winning the race, Cloud receives a letter from the owner of the Golden Saucer granting the group their freedom. And then he's just like, wow, you guys didn't actually kill all those guys. So sorry about that. Here's a stupid fucking car. Also, Sephiroth is heading towards the next town down the road. He's totally going towards Gongaga. Oh man, he's gonna super be there if you guys get there in time. Fucking get in this stupid car. Go! Fucking go! The group heads towards Gongaga, but then get ambushed by the Turks, who preemptively knew they were coming, leading the group to believe that someone traveling with them is a Shinra spy. Now, we got a pretty big mystery on our hands here. I mean, who's the Shinra spy? I mean, it could be the person who's been running away from Shinra their entire life. It could be the person who's been leading an entire rebellion faction against Shinra. It could be the person whose father was killed by Shinra and had their hometown destroyed because of Shinra. It could be the person who was captured from their home and used in Shinra's biological experiments, or it could be the person who forced themselves into the party for no reason at all and no one knows who they are or has any background information about them at all. I mean, could be fucking anyone. Anyways, the group reaches Gongaga and they fight a fucking Triceratops on tank treads and Sephiroth isn't there and nothing fucking happens. Where the fuck is Sephiroth? Where the fuck is he? So now the group heads west and eventually gets to Cosmo Canyon, which is Red 13's hometown, where you find out that Red 13's real name is Nanaki and he's like 48 years old, but he's still considered a teenager because his species lives for like hundreds of years or some shit. And yes, this information is incredibly vital to the story. You have to know this. I know this game's way too fucking long. I know it sounds stupid, okay? But we're gonna get through this together, okay? Red 13's grandfather, Bugenhagen, and the townsfolk of Cosmo Canyon have dedicated their lives to studying the planet, and then Bugenhagen explains this shit and he's just like, okay, so when people die, their spirits return to the planet and congregate in the life stream. So when Shinra produces Mako, they extract the spirit energy from the life stream, and then when the Mako is consumed, it doesn't return to the planet and destroys the cycle of life, which is why the planet is fucking dying and why we need to pass a Green New Deal. Fuck! Bugenhagen also hears that Red 13 is upset at his father for being a coward and decides to show him that his father was actually turned into stone while fighting against the Gi tribe. A secret that was kept by Bugenhagen and his parents for absolutely no reason because I guess they're just a bunch of assholes. And after discovering the truth, Red 13 becomes motivated to save the planet and decides to continue his journey with the rest of the group. Also, it's at this part of the game where I realized that I missed out on obtaining an optional party member. So I had to backtrack and take the shit back to Junon and run around in the forest for like 30 minutes. So basically, you find a mystery ninja during a random encounter, and then after the battle, you can talk to them and she'll join the party if you choose the correct dialogue prompts. The mystery ninja's name is Yuffie, and since she's a completely optional character, she's not really important to the story at all, and she doesn't really matter, and she's kind of an awful character and I fucking hate her. But we'll get to that eventually. Anyways, the group heads towards Cloud and Tifa's hometown Nibelheim, and to their surprise, the town that Sephiroth burned to the ground 5 years ago is still standing as if it never happened. Everyone inside of the town all deny that the fire took place. They find multiple men in black cloaks being a bunch of weirdos who all have different numbers tattooed on their arms who mention Sephiroth in some kind of reunion. And wouldn't you know it, Cloud actually finds Sephiroth inside of the Shinra mansion. And Sephiroth's just like, oh, Jenova will be at the reunion and become a calamity, and I'm totally going to be at the next town down the road. Here's the fucking materia. Oh, fuck! And then he flies away in the stupidest way possible, and it's like, god damn it, dude, I just fucking found you, come on! After traveling north across Mount Nibel and hopelessly chasing Sephiroth, the group ends up in Rocket Town, and they discover a small plane called the Tiny Bronco, and then Cloud's just like, yo, can we borrow this plane so we can chase down Sephiroth? And then Sid's just like, no, it's my plane. Fuck off. Meanwhile, Palmer from Shinra shows up with President Rufus at like the exact same time, and then they're just like, oh yeah, we also need the Tiny Bronco to chase down Sephiroth. And it's like, what the fuck? Why do you guys need the Tiny Bronco? Don't you have a fucking airship? Aren't you guys like the richest motherfuckers on the planet? This is bullshit, you motherfucker cocksucker motherfuckers. That's what Sid said. Meanwhile, the group decides to head back to the Tiny Bronco to stop Palmer from taking the plane, and you basically beat his ass and he loses the fight in probably the most embarrassing way possible. After the battle, the group barely manages to get on the plane as it starts taking off, and Sid also hops on as Shinra soldiers attempt to shoot it down, which eventually results in the tiny Bronco crashing down into the ocean. And apparently Sid's just like, oh man, you guys are fucking stupid, I want to hang out with you guys. And it's like, dude, we're fucking eco-terrorists fighting against the largest mega corporation on the planet and traveling across the world trying to kill Mega Hitler. Like, are you sure you want to come? And then Sid's just like, fuck it, whatever. And it's like, oh, okay. Cool. So now Sid tells the group that Rufus was planning on finding Sephiroth at the Temple of the Ancients, and Yuffie tells the group that they should head west. So using the tiny Bronco as a boat, the group heads west towards land, and then Yuffie just fucking steals all your materia and fucking runs away and betrays the group. Like, what the fuck is this shit? She took all my fucking materia. It took me the entire game to level up all that shit. Oh my god, where the fuck she at? Where the fuck is Yuffie? This is so fucking annoying, I can't even play the fucking game anymore. This is so fucking stupid. Fuck this, I'm looking this shit up. Do not save over your game while you're in Wutai or while your materia has been stolen by Yuffie. If you are unable to kill the last boss in Wutai, there is no way to get your materia back. Yeah, fuck that. I'm going back in time. Alright, Yuffie, you are officially banned from the fucking party. I'm never using you for anything. You get no new equipment, no new materia, no XP, no limit breaks. Fuck you. Alright, I took the boat all the way back to Junon to get your fucking ass, and all you've done is fucked me over. I'm never visiting Wutai for the rest of the game. I don't give a shit about your side quest. That whole area is removed from the fucking map. You are permanently benched, motherfucker. Alright, me, Tifa, and Sid are gonna clean fucking shop. You're just gonna have to sit there right next to the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Monster and do nothing this whole goddamn game because you almost ruined my whole playthrough, you stupid ass side quest. Fuck you. Anyways, after banishing Yuffie to the Shadow Realm, you go east and you find out that in order to get inside the Temple of the Ancients, you need to find a keystone that will open it. In fact, the group just shows up to a random house in the middle of nowhere, and the guy inside will literally tell you that he sold the keystone required to open the Temple of the Ancients to the owner at the Golden Saucer without anyone even bringing it up. Like, wow, that was fucking convenient. Thank God we traveled to this random ass house in the middle of fucking nowhere, or else we would have never known about that shit. So now they head to the Golden Saucer and Cloud gets the keystone, but as they're leaving, the tram breaks down and now they have to stay the night. Once the group heads to bed, Aerith heads over to Cloud's room and asks him out on a date, where they both take part in a play and ride the gondola together. And after the date, Cloud and Aerith both find Cait Sith stealing the keystone. It's like, oh my god, why is Cait Sith causing a ruckus? What the H is going on? So then they chase him around the Golden Saucer until he eventually hands off the keystone to the Turks, and believe it or not, Cait Sith was a spy for Shinra the whole time. Like, gee golly gosh, who could have seen that coming? What a goddamn plot twist! So now Cait Sith is just like, I'm controlling this body from inside of Shinra headquarters, and I'm holding Marlene and Aerith's mom hostage, so fuck you, I'll just do whatever I want and you can suck my fucking dick. And then Cloud's like, oh, okay, that's fine, I'll just pretend this never happened for the rest of the game. Anyways, the next morning, the group heads out towards the Temple of the Ancients and finds the leader of the Turks greatly wounded by Sephiroth, and luckily, since the Turks fucked up super hard, they decide to hand over the keystone back to Cloud so they can enter the Temple of the Ancients. So basically, Cait Sith outed himself as a spy and betrayed the group for fucking nothing. So then the group goes into the Temple of the Ancients and they run into Sephiroth, and then he's just like, I'm gonna send a giant meteor towards the planet by using the black materia, and then when the life stream attempts to heal itself, I'm gonna be waiting at the wound and absorb all the spirit energy and meld with the planet. I'm going to become the fucking planet. I'm fucking crazy. It's like, what? What the fuck? So now it's like, oh no, in order to get the black materia from the temple, we have to like solve some stupid puzzle. But since the entire temple is the black materia, it's going to like compress on itself and become the black materia. So whoever solves the puzzle will die. It's like a suicide mission. What do we do? So now Cait Sith's like, don't worry guys, I'll redeem myself by sacrificing my life to help save the planet. And it's like, dude, you're a fucking robot. Your sacrifice won't mean anything because you won't die. It literally means nothing. Shut up. Fuck off. And the game's like, oh no, it's like super emotional. I'm sacrificing myself to help you guys, and now I'm gonna be a good guy now. Yay. It's like, whatever, fuck you. Just get the fucking materia. Shut up. Anyways, Cloud picks up the black materia and asks Aerith if it's possible to use it. But apparently it can only be used in the Promised Land since it requires a vast amount of spiritual power to use, which means that as long as Sephiroth can't find the Promised Land, then he can't use it to summon Meteor. And it's like, well, okay, that's pretty reassuring. But then, oh shit, Sephiroth's just like, fuck you, I'll just fucking do it anyways. Like, what? But Aerith just said that. Nah, fuck you, I gained the knowledge and wisdom of the ancients by traveling through the life stream. I already found the fucking promised land because I fucking cheated. Suck my fucking dick. And it's like, this is fucking bullshit. And then Sephiroth just possesses Cloud's mind and forces him to hand over the black materia, and then Cloud just starts beating the shit out of Aerith, and then Kate Sith is just like, yo, I didn't actually die. It's me, Kate Sith too. Woohoo! Like, dude, we don't have time for this shit. Shut up. And then the other party members stop Cloud from being mind controlled by knocking him out. While being unconscious, Aerith telepathically talks to Cloud and tells him that she traveled to the City of the Ancients to stop Sephiroth from destroying the planet with Meteor, because apparently she's the only one who can do it, and also it's near the end of Disc 1, so she's totally gonna be fine. After Cloud wakes up at Gongaga with Barret and Tifa by his side, they immediately head over towards the City of the Ancients to find Aerith. The group finds her praying at an altar, and as Cloud approaches her, he once again becomes possessed by Sephiroth and attempts to kill her with his sword. But right after he takes back control over his body, Sephiroth appears from above and kills Aerith. And then it's like, oh wait, I'm actually Goo Monster, bah! Bah! And then you kill it. They all continue to mourn Aerith's death, and then Cloud carries her body outside and places her in the waters of the Forgotten City as her limp corpse floats down into the water. And it's like, Aerith, no! Aerith! Fuck! No! Guys, let's go snowboarding! Now, right before you hit the slopes, you can actually get a really important backstory for Aerith if you discover Professor Gas' hidden tapes at Icicle Inn, where you discover that his findings on the Jenova project are actually incorrect. You see, according to Aerith's biological mother, Afalna, Jenova wasn't a Cetra, but rather an extraterrestrial alien that crash-landed Nosepole 2,000 years ago, which wounded the planet and created the Northern Crater, later inflicting the Cetra with a virus that wiped them out, and apparently a small number of surviving Cetra were able to defeat the extraterrestrial alien and contained it. But not before the planet produced a biological monster called Weapon, which supposedly was never used and remains dormant till this day. It's like fucking Godzilla just sitting in mountainside somewhere. It's like, what? What the fuck? Anyways, after scaling the cliffside, the group finally finds the location where Jenova crash landed on the planet, and the group finds the men in black cloaks once again, as well as Sephiroth. And then he's like, bomb, Goo Monster, bomb! And then you kill it. Again, the group finally reclaims the black materia from the Goo Monster, and then they travel forward towards the real Sephiroth, who created an illusion of Nibelheim in order to mind fuck Cloud. Sephiroth shows the group the same cutscene from Cloud's flashback near the start of the game, but this time Cloud has been replaced by someone else. And Sephiroth's just like, this is the true reality of what happened, and you're just a failed Jenova clone created by Professor Hojo, and the cells within your body altered your physical appearance by merging with Tifa's memories, and you were never fucking there, Cloud. Look, here's a picture of you not fucking being there, Cloud. Oh shit! Fuck you, Cloud! Meanwhile, Shinra has taken their airship towards the planet Wound and have arrived before everyone else, and they're just like, oh my god, this is the promised land, look at all this fucking Mako we're gonna build Neo Midgar here, hey, break out the fucking cannoli. But then the walls surrounding the cave start to crumble, which reveals that the dormant weapon that was created by the planet 2,000 years ago is still alive, resting in this very spot. Meanwhile, since Cloud has clearly been mindfucked by what he just learned, he takes the black materia from the group and attempts to give it to Sephiroth. And then Hojo's just like, oh yeah, Cloud was a Sephiroth clone I created after the real Sephiroth died 5 years ago by using Jenova cells and Mako energy to bring him back to life. Which is why the Black Cloak guys have been following around the Sephiroth Goo Monsters this whole time, because the Goo Monsters were actually Sephiroth clones made from parts of Jenova from inside of the Shinra plastic table headquarters on top of the pizza. And since the men in black cloaks are also failed Sephiroth clones, the Jenova cells within their bodies are trying to form back together with the Goo Monsters. However, when Sephiroth's body was absorbed in the livestream when he was killed 5 years ago, he was able to manipulate his will through the Jenova clones in order to bring himself back to life. It's the fucking Jenova reunion theory. And it's like, oh! Now the game makes sense. So now Cloud gives Sephiroth the black materia, which causes the weapons to begin to awaken from their slumber and the cave starts to collapse. Since the group has nowhere else to go, they decide to escape with Shinra on their airship as the weapons travel away from the Northern Crater, where the resulting momentum of Tifa's big ass titties cause her to fall over and get knocked out. So now shit's super fucked! Tifa wakes up a week later, Sephiroth has already casted Meteor, he's laming it out, camping behind a fucking giant barrier surrounding the northern crater like a total bitch. Cloud is just fucking gone, weapons going on a rampage, Sephiroth has completely won. It's fucking over. Meanwhile, President Rufus shows up and tells Tifa and Barret that they're going to publicly execute them on live television and blame them for causing the situation. Because even during the post-apocalypse, Shinra are still a bunch of giant assholes. So now Scarlet locks Tifa away inside of a gas chamber, but right before they get the chance to kill her, Weapon starts to attack Junon and causes everyone to freak out. During the commotion, Cait Sith comes out of nowhere and saves Barret, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm a good guy now. And it's like, yeah, whatever, fuck you, and they both run away. Meanwhile, Shinra attempts to blow up Weapon with an extremely large cannon, but since it's not powerful enough to kill it, it just continues attacking the Junon base, and its laser shot breaks a hole through the wall that allows Tifa to escape the gas chamber. So now Tifa starts running away from Shinra soldiers on top of the cannon, and then Tifa and Scarlet have a comedically girly slap fight. It's like the dumbest shit ever. And then apparently Tifa just stalled long enough for Barret to grab Shinra's airship, and then they just get the fuck out of there. With the airship at their disposal, the group decides to track down Cloud, and after a bit of exploring, the group finds out that he washed up on the shores of Midel, having drifted through the life stream from the northern crater. However, Cloud has now entered a coma and has almost no hope of recovering because he basically overdosed off Mako energy. So with nothing else to do, Tifa decides to stay with Cloud until he fully recovers. Meanwhile, Cait Sith allows the rest of the group to eavesdrop in on a Shinra meeting, and apparently Shinra's planning on collecting huge materia from Mako reactors across the world in order to put it in a huge ball and ram it into Meteor in order to blow it up or some shit. So now the rest of the group decides to travel to some of their Mako reactors to take the huge materia for themselves so they can use it in their fight against Sephiroth. So then you get the first huge materia by going to Fort Condor and playing a stupid fucking minigame which sucks ass and is fucking boring. And then you get the second one by getting on a train and doing some other stupid shit. And after you do that, the group heads back to Midel to check on Cloud and Tifa, but then when they arrive, Weapon just randomly shows up and starts attacking the town. Shit's super fucked! And after defending themselves and chasing away Weapon, it causes a giant earthquake to occur, and as they try to escape, Cloud and Tifa fall into a chasm and both land directly into the life stream. Inside of the life stream, Tifa is able to enter Cloud's subconscious and fix his mental state by sifting through his memories, which is where we get Cloud and Tifa's true backstory. In reality, Cloud really wanted to impress Tifa by saying that he was going to join Soldier. However, when Cloud left Nibelheim, he never made it in and was merely working as a grunt soldier like a total bitch. So being embarrassed of never joining Soldier, he kept his helmet on the entire time during his visit to Nibelheim in order to stay hidden from the townsfolk. And because of this, when Sephiroth came to Nibelheim, Tifa never saw Cloud arrive, and the other soldier from Sephiroth's illusion was in fact the one who actually came. The person who showed up that day was actually Zack, the soldier who was Aerith's first love, who was originally from Gongaga. And while Zack and Sephiroth fought each other at the Mako reactor like Cloud stated, Zack was unable to defeat him, and Cloud came running in afterwards and was able to overpower Sephiroth in his weakened state by tossing him down into the life stream and killing him. After Tifa repairs Cloud's mental state and discovers the truth, they both wake up washed up on the shore, and Cloud later confesses that he made up the story of what happened 5 years ago by retelling the stories that he heard from Zack. And he basically lied this whole time about being a member of Soldier because he just wanted to look cool so he could fuck Tifa. And everyone's just like, oh, okay, that's fine, I'd make shit up too. Now, I know what you're thinking, well, cool, whatever, but why the fuck is Cloud a clone of Sephiroth? He had Genova cells injected into him or some shit? Like, what the fuck is that shit? Well, at this point of the game, if you revisit the basement of the Shinra mansion, you can discover a hidden cutscene that explains this in further detail. You see, after Cloud killed Sephiroth, Hojo captured Zack and Cloud and used them as human test subjects by injecting their bodies with Genova cells and Mako, which apparently is also the standard practice for producing members of Soldier, which is why Cloud was infused with Mako energy and Genova cells despite never making it in. Also, Sephiroth clones aren't necessarily created from birth, but they're just normal people that Hojo has kidnapped and injected with Mako and Genova cells. So calling them Sephiroth clones is kind of fucking stupid because it's just Hojo basically lying to the camera for the sake of having a plot twist in the story. It's kinda fucking dumb. Now, the reason I discovered this hidden cutscene was because this was at the part of the game where I decided to find the second optional party member, Vincent. Now, unlike Yuffie, who fucking sucks ass, Vincent is a much more interesting character whose backstory actually pertains to the main plot of the game. In order to get him to join the party, you have to solve some puzzles inside of the Shinra mansion, and that will unlock a safe that will give you a key to one of the rooms in the basement, where you'll find Vincent asleep inside of a coffin. So now Vincent's just like, I've been atoning for my sins by sleeping in this coffin for the past 20 years. And it's like, dude, do you not have to eat food or shit or anything? Like, what the fuck? And he's just like, no, it's fine, because Hojo experimented on me with Mako or some shit, and I can like turn into a monster or something. And it's just like, okay, that's cool. Bye. But then Vincent's just like, oh wait, you guys trying to kill Hojo? I'm coming too. And then the group's just like, Cloud, are we really letting this psycho join the group? And then Cloud's just like, dude, have you seen our party? We're a bunch of freaks. Whatever, let's just get one more. Fuck it, dude, let's go. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, does anyone remember what was going on? Anyone? Does anyone know? No, of course not, because we gotta get the huge materia. We gotta get it for some reason. I don't know why. It's like you go to the underwater Junon Mako reactor, and apparently the huge materia is being put on a submarine, so now we gotta like get into the submarine and shoot it down to get the huge materia, and nothing fucking happens. And then it's like, oh, Shinra's loading all the huge materia on the rocket at Rocket Town to launch it at the meteor. So then the group gets on the rocket, and they get locked in and get sent to space, and then Sid and Cloud are like trying to enter the passcode to remove the huge materia, and Sid's just like, just fucking mash the buttons and see if you can guess the password, because I don't remember this shit at all. It's like, god damn it, Sid, you dumb fuck. And then like Sid's assistant Shara is just on board the rocket because apparently she planned on just killing herself for no reason. And then they all jump into an escape pod before the rocket hits the meteor, and then nothing fucking happens. So now the group heads back to the airship, and they're just like, oh man, Shinra's plan didn't work. What a bunch of morons. So now it's just like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, obviously their plan didn't work. We just took all the huge materia and ruined their plan. Like, why is this cutscene even happening? I mean, obviously crashing the huge materia into Meteor was kind of a brute force dumb idea, but at least Shinra are like actually coming up with a plan and doing something. Meanwhile, Avalanche are just grabbing the huge materia for the sake of doing it, and they're just like, oh yeah, with this huge materia, we'll be able to use it to defeat Sephiroth. And it's just like, well, okay, that's fine, but what the fuck are you guys gonna do with it? And it's like, no, you don't get it. We can use the huge materia because we can use it. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? What the fuck is going on? Now, that sounds like a joke, right? But it's completely true, because since Avalanche has no clue on what to do next, they're just like, oh yeah, let's head back to Cosmo Canyon and ask Bugenhagen for some advice on what to do next, cause we don't know what the fuck we're doing. So after a bit of brainstorming, they realize Aerith knew something about saving the planet that the others didn't. So now the group decides to head back to the City of the Ancients with Bugenhagen in order to investigate the area and figure out why Aerith traveled there in the first place. During their investigation, they discover that Aerith wanted to use the white materia she inherited from her lineage to cast Holy, the ultimate white magic that could be used to protect the planet from Meteor. And according to Bugenhagen, in order for anyone to properly cast it, a soul seeking it has to return to the planet, and then Holy will wipe out anything threatening the life of the planet. The group realizes that her prayers were successful, but currently, Sephiroth is stopping her soul from returning to the planet from inside the planet core, thereby keeping Holy from being released. And it's like, Jesus Christ, this shit is so fucking unfair! He's fucking cheating, dude! What the fuck? Meanwhile, Kate Sith calls Cloud to let him know that Shinra has moved their massive cannon at Junon and are planning on using it to destroy Sephiroth. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Where are they putting it? And then Kate Sith's just like, oh, you know, a place where they harvest a lot of Mako energy. And it's like, huh, where is that? Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! So now, because of the massive Mako energy required to power the cannon, Weapon rises up from the sea and starts attacking Midgar, very slowly. It continues to travel at a snail-like pace towards Midgar, and the group decides that they're going to fight off Weapon in order to protect the townsfolk. Whenever Weapon actually decides to show up. I mean, it's getting there. It's pretty close. It might be here soon. I mean, shit, I could go fucking do something before it gets there. God damn. After you beat the shit out of it, Weapon eventually starts retreating once Shinra starts to power up their fucking giant-ass cannon. It's like the fucking hypest shit. They use all 8 reactors inside of Midgar to shoot off the fucking biggest massive laser shot in existence and fucking end up killing Weapon and destroying the barrier around Sephiroth in one shot. But before it dies, Weapon ends up firing a shit ton of shots back at Shinra's plastic table headquarters on top of the pizza and ends up killing President Rufus. So now the barrier's down, it's time to get to the Northern Crater to kill Sephiroth and beat the game. But oh shit, it's not even over! Professor Hojo is planning on firing off the cannon again without waiting for the cannon to cool down and risking the lives of everyone in Midgar in order to give Sephiroth a ton of Mako energy. And since President Rufus is dead and Midgar is in complete disarray, no one's going to stop him. And it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So now the group airdrops into Midgar from the airship and fights their way towards Hojo, who reveals that the reason he's helping Sephiroth is because Hojo is Sephiroth's biological father. And it's like, what the fuck? This guy had sex? So now Hojo's like, oh yeah, while Lucrezia was still pregnant with my son, I offered her over to the Genova Project and injected Genova cells into Sephiroth while he was still a fetus. And basically everything terrible that has ever happened throughout the entire story is completely my fault because I'm a giant asshole. Also, oh shit, I'm a fucking zombie, bah! Oh wait, never mind, I'm actually a goo monster, bah! Oh wait, never mind, I'm actually, whatever the fuck this is, a fucking snake thing. And then the group beats the shit out of him and then he fucking dies and they stop the cannon from firing. With Hojo being taken care of, the group can now finally prepare themselves for the final fight against Sephiroth in the Northern Crater. But then Cloud somehow tricks everyone to leave for a day so he could bang Tifa up against some rocks somewhere, and then the next morning when they all meet back up again, Cloud's like, okay, now that I fucked Tifa, now let's go fight Sephiroth. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Cloud, we don't have time for this shit! Anyways, after descending into the Northern Crater for an hour and a half, you eventually reach the inside of the planet where you fight off against the head of Genova and finally find Sephiroth in the core of the planet. So then you fight Sephiroth's first form, it's like this weird body poking out of another body, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. And then you fight the second phase and it's like the most intimidating shit ever. He does this supernova move which lasts 2 minutes straight where a giant ass meteor from space destroys every planet in the fucking solar system and later crashes into you and does 95% your HP, and then he does the supernova move again. It's like, what the fuck? He already destroyed all the planets in the solar system. How can he do this shit twice? I got 2 X potions, bro. This is fucking bullshit. Tifa's dead, Vincent's confused, Cloud's tiny, everyone's fucking dying. Oh my god, he's doing it again. I'm fucked. I'm so fucked. This is bullshit. Oh my god, this cutscene's so fucking long. Fuck this, I'm taking a shit. Fucking die! Fucking die! Oh my god, fuck you! Oh my god, is it fucking over? Oh my god, please die. Yes! Yes! Fuck you! Suck my dick! It's fucking over. Pack this shit up, baby. Cloud's gonna go back and bang Tifa up against that fucking rock. Fucking did it. Wait, what the fuck? No, 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 no. No. No, 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 no! How the fuck is he not dead? How is he not fucking dead? This is fucking bullshit. But then, oh shit, you get your fucking limit bar, it goes all the way up, goes whoop. You're fucked. And then you just fucking beat the shit out of him. It's the fucking hypest shit. It's like, fuck you, Sephiroth. Suck my dick. Get fucking wrecked. It's fucking over! It's done! But oh shit, it's not even over! The high wind comes crashing down into the Northern Crater and the group escapes, but now Meteor is crashing into Midgar and it's too late for Holy to stop it in time. Wow, thank God we wasted an entire day so Cloud could fuck Tifa, now we're all gonna fucking die. But then out of nowhere, Aerith's soul commands the life stream to rush out of all the pores of the planet to work with Holy to stop Meteor. It's the fucking hypest shit! And then after the credits, you get one final cutscene. 500 years later, Red 13 has grown up with 2 of his children and they climb up a mountain to reveal the overgrown ruins of Midgar. And then the fucking title drops. You can hear children playing in the distance. And it's like, we fucking did it. We saved the planet. No joke, this is probably one of the best endings to a video game ever. Masterpiece shit. Final Fantasy VII is one of the best games ever made. Now, you know who fucking hates that ending and thinks that this entire story was fucking bullshit? Fucking Square Enix! Apparently!